Good morning.
Morning.
I
Morning, Shanelle.
shot out of bed this morning when my alarm came on.
Really?
Went off. Shot.
You must have been excited.
I was so excited. You have no idea.
You know, I was thinking about you this morning because I always forget. I always forget you live in Los Angeles.
I know, right?
Tell me,
I don't
tell
talk
me,
about it
tell,
much.
tell me about it. Tell me about Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. Well, it's beachy, not. It is really
It's where
weird.
movies are made.
Well, I am at the birthplace of cinema, so you're welcome.
How is
This is another planet, and being from the East Coast, okay, this is a weird thing. I never fully get off East Coast time because my whole
it?
family.
You're still jet lagged?
It's
3 years
not the
later?
right way to say. You're still jet lagged. My like whole system is East Coast, so I'm constantly doing the math in my head of like what time is it in New York. I wonder if you're born and bred in California, if you always are like, what's going on in California? Like I'm always just like, what's going on in New York right now?
Yeah. Nature versus nurture.
It's really weird, and I feel really
it's almost
small
like you can't
here.
relax.
No, I can't relax. I'm just always thinking like, what's going on in New York?
Always doing calculations.
Oh my God, classic overthinker. But
Woman in
I don't know.
STEM.
I'm a woman in STEM, self-proclaimed. You can proclaim that about yourself.
Oh yeah. That you can definitely self-identify. You don't need
That's
someone.
how it works, actually.
how it works.
Because I troubleshooted our screen recorder this morning.
Yeah.
Your words, not mine. Geek Squad.
Geek Squad. Well, I was just thinking because
Geek Squad.
you live in LA and almost nothing that we ever talk about is related to you living in Los Angeles.
I
You
know,
could
I
be-
know.
And all I see is this little room, so who knows where you actually
I could be
are.
lying. I could be like down
You
your
could be
street.
lying. You could be lying. So
I agree with you. I think I need
I
to
just
get
wanted
better.
to bring that up to see if I could get any tells from your face to see
Nope.
if you were lying.
Nope, nothing here. This is a sim. I'm a non-player character. I think I want to be better about like sharing more. I just like moved to LA secretly because I didn't want anyone to know.
Yeah, safety first.
Safety first. I moved to LA secretly. Also, I didn't want anyone to be like, oh my God, tie in with Hope Floats. I didn't want them to be like, Chanel's back from California. She went, but she failed. Like she
And then
went.
all your high school bullies, or all the people you bullied rather, come out of the woodwork.
You know, I'm curious about that. Was she
right
a
their
mean girl in
wrongs.
this or not? Probably, right?
Well, they definitely want to let us know that she was a mean girl.
Mm-hmm.
However, given that they cast Sandra Bullock, I think it doesn't work.
Just swing and a miss.
If it had been Cameron Diaz, it could have worked, I think, a little bit stronger.
Yeah, doesn't work.
Or even Jennifer Lopez could have worked really well too, I think, if you were trying to get kind of that high school bully energy.
Yeah.
But not Sandra.
No, she was just too like doe-eyed and sweet this whole movie. And I think they were obviously going for she was hot. So therefore,
It was
Mean
more
girl?
jealousy, I think, than
that's what I think. I think everyone was jealous of her. I don't think she was outwardly too
because
terrible.
maybe I might have missed it, but I also don't think like when she runs into all these girls from her past, they don't really bring up horrible things that she did to them.
No, never. The one job interview lady, she's like, look, I'm
Polka
sure I
Dot.
wasn't. What?
With
What's her
Polka Dot.
Oh, Polka Dot. Yes.
With, by the way, the best name for a business ever. It's a temp agency. And she calls it Temptation and Agency. It's funny.
This movie, I said it before we got on, the specifics of it are perfect. I think that a lot of times these movies are Mad Libs. You just put them in a machine and you shake and you see like what comes out.
And then they slapped a bunch of bumper stickers on this one.
They slapped a
lot
bunch
of bumper sticker
stickers.
quotes.
No, this is... So I had seen this movie before. You had not. And
not.
I had remembered, Justin Matisse, you stink.
It honestly
forever.
at
It's so
it honestly at times felt like they just got in their car and drove around and wrote down all the bumper stickers that they saw in
across
order,
Texas.
and that
Yeah.
was the script.
It's good. It's like, how do we jam these in?
Yeah.
And it was like
It's-
very organically done. Like, good on them.
Yeah, there were definitely. It's nice when people have like catchphrases in real life like that.
Oh yeah, I will be using in our conversations only because you're the only one who will get it. Justin Matisse, you stink.
You stink.
It's a sad story. It is if you care about the skunk, which we didn't.
No, we didn't. But yeah, I really liked the movie. It was with the title and with the kind of the cover image of her draped across Harry Connick Jr. like that, I really didn't know where we were going, and it certainly didn't match what the movie was.
I'm curious, since I had seen it already, what did you assume?
Well,
rom-com?
I'm thinking hope floats. I'm thinking maybe more rom-com. Like there's water in the background. Maybe it was like a marina, some sort of like boat love story.
They go to the aquarium.
Something like that. Something related to water, but we didn't get that.
They did one
They're landlocked.
boat date. One boat date.
Yeah.
Where
But it's
he's
not
like,
a water.
Mom.
It's not a water movie.
He's like, don't you ever shut up.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm not really good at silences. Or
I will say this. I enjoyed Harry Connick Jr. a lot more in this movie than I did in the one with Renee Zellweger.
I was gonna say, yeah,
New in Town, which is an excellent movie.
Excellent movie. Both of these excellent movies. I want to say from the beginning, before we immediately poke holes in this movie for the next hour and a half, I want to say this is a perfect movie. I have no problems really.
Oh no! Everyone Everyone should be forced to watch. Hope
Literally
floats.
Forced. Sit down and watch it. I think Academy Awards for at least Sandra Bullock, the kid, and Gena Rowlands, and oh my god, her nephew.
The nephew
Travis.
giving a really brave performance.
Is he okay? Not.
It was tough to think about what they were trying to communicate about the nephew. It seemed to boil down to the fact that he's acting weird because he doesn't have a mom.
So I was wondering, is his mother's the actress, right? They're like,
okay,
she's like, both my daughters are on TV.
Right. But okay, they say that the only information we get about his mom is that she's in Hollywood and she's doing pilot season, to which, or no, she's doing a pilot, to which Sandra Bullock says, "Oh, what's his name? Ha ha ha."
Ha ha ha. It's a TV show.
It's a TV show. So it's also sort of unclear to what degree she's actually an actress.
I know,
she's definitely doing acting, but it doesn't seem like it's not serious. It doesn't seem like.
Yeah, it felt like they were treating her like delusional, but they're willing to buy into the delusion to keep up appearances. This is an appearances family. Taxidermy.
Yeah, taxidermy. And
this movie has it all.
Yeah. No, I agree. They're definitely trying to keep up performances, but they're certainly not trying to communicate that like Sandra Bullock's sister is the successful one and Sandra Bullock is the failure. Like they don't turn the TV on and they see like her sister acting.
No, I know. She's just like a phantom in this movie. Scene.
Yeah, she's a phantom limb.
It's really, really funny how often they blame Sandra Bullock for being terrible and losing her husband.
Well, what's so funny
What did you do?
What's so funny about the movie, and I even bought into it too, where, we'll go through it, but obviously she falls on hard times and has to move in with her mom. But what's so funny about it is that as soon as she gets into her grandmother's house, it's like the whole town comes out with pitchforks and they are ready to poke her and stab her. And immediately she's expected to move on, get a job, be happy. And all this woman really needs is like 3 days in bed, and no one will let her
They won't let her. Spot on. That's exactly what I'm saying.
It's not until the end of the movie where everyone just like lays off of her that she's able to just relax, and then she feels better. It's so wild to me. The whole movie, people are like, get over it.
No, I wrote so many times, like, they just won't let this woman grieve. Like, she needs like many bed days in a row to just cry.
Like, the first thing her mom says to her is like, well, way to go. Nice job not telling me anything about this. And you just want to
I didn't even know you were having troubles.
The whole point is that she didn't know. That's
Blindside on national television.
It was The Blind Side.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm not saying that again in this episode. It's too hot button.
too hot. So yeah, it was funny to me because it's not until she has a moment alone to just rest that she's able to heal. And you really, it makes you think that if she would have just had 2 days to herself at the beginning, probably none of this would have happened.
I know. I know it's a movie, and I know we need to speed through time. And so I know that she probably had more lay days than we saw. We saw 2. I'm pretty sure we saw 2 robe changes.
Yeah. And
that was it.
I mean, you even think about it, right? Like the very first morning she wakes up in her mom's house, right? She has what I guess we would call an emotional hangover, and she's just trying to sleep, and her mom wakes her up with the vacuum cleaner and is like, get out of bed.
Death, guillotine. I fucking hate that.
Like, just let this woman sleep.
Yeah. And then day 2, she's woken up again by some power tools, or is this like later in the day?
Yeah.
And it's Justin Matisse.
And right. And the expectation, though, is that she needs to get her butt down to the temp agency and get a job. Stat.
Right now. It's going to make you feel better. Get the fuck up. Oh, and they don't miss a moment to tell her she looks like shit.
One of my favorite recurring moments in the movie is exactly that. I mean, people go out of their way to tell her how hideous she looks.
You look terrible. And it's like, she looks perfect.
She looks great. And it's just, I know we're supposed to be getting this fall from grace for her because she was this town-renowned beauty for 3 years in a row.
Beauty queen.
And now she's just
someone's mom.
They're just going to tell us that she's ugly. Because they can't show us.
I feel like Barbie, like Greta Gerwig was like, we can't have a hope floats. So do you know that self-aware moment in Barbie where they're like, don't cast Margot Robbie?
No, they had a poster on set that said hope floats with a big X through it. And they were like,
look at this uggo.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
No, not a repeat of hope floats. Yeah, I just said this movie is everything. It's perfect before we lay into it. I made a list of things it has. Are you ready?
Please go.
This movie has hot people, holiday fairs, snow globes, taxidermy, old-timey cameras, childhood trauma, small town bars, kids that speak like adults, good bullies, reality television.
Oh, that was an off-the-rack bully that they found. She couldn't have been more perfect.
Oh my God, I loved her. Big Dolores. Good name. Made no sense.
No, and
kind of rude.
You think? You think that
Dolores.
was rude? You think that was rude?
It was an off the rack bully.
Off the rack. She was just standard bully.
Hey, Popeye. Yeah, I couldn't with this movie. The specifics are just too good. So I could have made that list forever. I could have kept going.
Yeah, it was interesting because they really drilled down to really specific details in some places and then kept it really broad in other. Specifically, like with a lot of their dialogue was extremely broad, but like the interior lives of the characters was very specific.
Rich. You're right. Yeah, because I'm like, to this moment, I'm not really sure. We don't know how or why Mama dies. Spoiler.
No, I mean, yeah, something internal. Something
internal.
On.
Something internal.
Call is coming from inside the house. So,
and to this
she's
day,
not shot.
We don't know why. Yeah, she's not shot. Just FYI, if you're not going to watch it. And we don't really know why Justin Matisse comes back from California, right? We just know he does.
Right.
Yeah. We don't know what Sandra Bullock exactly did to lose her husband in her marriage. Vague. Because we know that she did something. She didn't, guys. She really didn't. Watch this movie.
But that is how the movie starts, because it opens on a real not a real show, a show that I wish was real. Sorry.
Same.
Starring Kathy Najimy as a talk show host. And she's doing an incredible... I mean, she looks and sounds exactly like Ricki Lake. It's uncanny.
No. She's spot on. I almost was like, wow, do we have this? And you just said it, Ricki Lake. I was like, this is Springer. She's doing her best Springer.
It's so funny because even what she's saying in the beginning, it made me die. Because she's like, I love life. I love life. I love this job. I love this job.
It's
It was so good.
unhinged. Yeah, and we find out Birdie, played by Sandra Bullock, is about to hit the couch on this reality television show, and her best friend is there, but Birdie thinks she's gonna get a makeover.
Right. She thinks she's there
So
to get a
bad.
makeover, but as Kathy Najimy channeling Ricky Lake says, you know, we're gonna get down and dirty because that's what makes a difference. That is what makes the difference. Which another line that I loved.
I'd believe it if you told me Kathy Najimy improvised all her dialogue. It's too good.
It felt like it. It felt like it.
It's funny. She crushed it.
It also just didn't drive with the rest of the movie in the sense that whoever wrote that could not have been responsible for the rest of the movie.
No, I
It was
know.
too
It's like
funny.
that person bowed out after that scene. They're like, I'm done with this movie. You guys pick up.
Yeah. And you're right, though. Sandra Bullock is shocked to find out that she's there not for a makeover, but to find out that her husband is sleeping with her best friend, and
Yeah.
they're there to let her know.
Important moment. It is rehashed many a time through this movie. Many people have seen this.
Everyone saw it. This was
Everyone.
the Super Bowl.
This is their Super Bowl. One woman saw it twice because she's a satellite.
Yeah,
Once
you're
Central and once Eastern or whatever she said.
It was interesting because they didn't seem like those shows prey on people who are not wealthy to exploit them. So it just felt strange that these people were on the show to begin with.
Oh, this is white collar.
Yeah, and I will say this. I did appreciate everyone was being honest, at least.
On the couch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was being honest. Her friend was being honest. So at least I'll give them that. Now, obviously, they could have done this off camera, but
Yeah, over
honesty
dinner.
is the best policy.
Honesty is the best policy. Yes.
So at least I can appreciate that they were being honest.
Yeah. And I just have to point out, it is so shocking that throughout the whole movie, and it is a running gag, I do get it, it's a joke, no one is concerned for Birdie that she found this out on national television. They're all just so excited to tell her they saw.
No.
Oh
No
my
one
God,
no
I
one
saw.
asked, how are you? How was that experience?
That was not. I'm looking for one character, just one, to say, "Hey, that was the way you found out about that. Fucked up."
Yeah, because even Dot, the lady at the temptation agency, was like, oh, that must have been so humiliating to go through that.
Yeah,
And I thought
yeah.
Sandra Bullock had a really nice response where she was like, oh, it's just TV.
I
Things
like
are
that. Don't give her
manipulated.
her
I thought-
power.
Exactly.
I'm big on
I
that.
love that line.
Don't give the bully what she wants.
But I do think, wow, that's a really great kind of producing feat for that show. To pull something like that off, that's pretty
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, they did a great job. The segment probably did really well. I'm not sure. I couldn't see all of it, but
I'm sure it tracked. But as soon as the segment's over, there's no reconciling. Sandra Bullock is packing up in the car, and she's out of there.
yeah, fast. And I'm
With
very
her
appreciative.
daughter.
They tell me she's leaving Chicago. I needed to know what city we're leaving.
Needed to know because it was definitely it was too
trick.
warm out. Like there was no snow on the ground, so we didn't really know where we were to begin with.
Exactly.
So
I needed that. So leaving Chicago
yeah.
for, I don't think they say what state, but it's like Springfield or something.
yeah, it was interesting because around 3/4 of the way through the movie, I did find myself asking, "Where are we?"
Where are we? Yeah, they're
It's
not
definitely
specific state-wise.
South.
I looked it up after. It is Texas. They don't, again, one of those instances where the specifics are a little vague.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a southern town, and Sandra's going to go back to live with her mommy.
Yeah.
And she's an ex-beauty queen, which we get pretty hit over the head with. It's pretty much said in every scene.
Yeah, she lets us know. She reminds her daughter that she was 3 years running the beauty queen in the town.
Mm-hmm. We see her look at the cheerleaders at that local high school, and then she sort of superimposes her face into the scene. So we're like,
Yeah.
okay, cheerleader. Hot,
Cheerleader. She was pretty. And then I don't know if it's right away or if it's her inner conversations with her mom. We find out that she was the cheerleader whatever his name was, Bill, her now soon to be ex-husband, I guess, was a football player. They were sort of the town couple.
Yeah, the hot couple.
Hot couple.
Also, like, everyone, so she rolls into town and everyone's so quick to be like, you look like shit at first because they need to like.
Even her mom.
Yeah.
Was like,
have you been taken up drinking? Is like the main
her
thing.
first line.
Yeah. You've been drinking. And then you cut to like this look, you cut to the shot of Sandra Bullock and she's perfect. There's absolutely nothing wrong. Maybe she's like a little tired under the eyes, if that.
Yeah. Like maybe her hair could have used a few more minutes of combing, but it wasn't. She's definitely not emerging as like a swamp monster like they're trying to get us to think.
Yeah. You've been drinking? At that point, I just wrote love mom so much. I love her. She's honest. This is a movie about honesty. You said that.
It's a movie about radical honesty.
Yes, literally.
And up until this point, and I don't think it's the last 5 minutes of the movie that we actually hear the phrase "hope floats," but I'm still racking my brain trying to figure out where we're going.
Me too. I remember thinking her name must be Hope. Hope floats.
Or the daughter's name is Hope something. Like
yes.
Hope floats, like she's going to survive. No, like it's still a little bit unclear.
And we've already established not a water movie, but we don't know at this point. We're not sure.
We don't know. Right. It's still pretty early on for an hour and 50 minutes.
No montages, I think I told you.
No montages.
Not a single montage. Just there's a lot of slow motion.
No time. There is a lot of slow motion.
It's dramatic slow motion.
Did you think it was weird that they kept saying that it was a Forrest Whitaker film? I found that strange.
Like that was the selling point.
They kept putting it up on the screen.
No, I know. I was like, is this supposed to, no offense to Forrest Whitaker, is this supposed to mean something to me?
Right.
You know?
I mean, when I don't know what I think
he's
of
great.
when I think of Forrest Whitaker as a brand, but it's not this.
No, I know. Like Forrest Whitaker did the soundtrack and you're like, okay.
Oh yeah, I saw. Yeah,
cool. Like it's a good it's fine. It's just fine.
Yeah. I thought good for her, him.
When the rain's blowing in your face. It's a good one.
When they played Smile, I nearly lost it. And not even the Barbra Streisand. And then it killed me because obviously the original Smile is a Charlie Chaplin song. And then
he's Charlie.
He's dressed inexplicably dressed as Charlie Chaplin during Smile.
Yeah, I never finished this thought from earlier. I think that Travis is wilding out because his mom's an actress. So he's like, I need to act. Because in every scene, he's like a different character. So we meet him and he's a dog.
He's like that show with Patricia Arquette and Joey King.
Oh my God, Munchausen.
He's an actor. He's acting up. So okay, actually, your theory makes more sense actually than mine. Yeah,
he's like, I need to get mom back. I need to be like the best actor I can be. So he's like doing that, which is cute. Sense. It's a really cute coping mechanism.
They do indulge him, I think, a little bit too much.
It was a lot. There were a lot of costumes. I could have done with one or two less. Show me your real self, buddy.
I mean, it didn't seem like they had that much disposable income, let alone enough to support his costume fix.
Oh my God, he was everything. He was a clown.
Full costumes, by the way, not just
Kermit,
like painted.
Full face paint.
Oh wait, when he was Kermit and the grandmom goes, "Look at him. It's not easy being green."
I know, I'm obsessed. It was really cute. I need to know, since you hadn't seen this before and I had, I knew when grandma's like, your cousin waited up all night to see you and then he fell asleep. When you saw a kid in the next frame, were you like wondering who that was? Did it track for you that that's the cousin? I thought when I first saw this, I thought it'd be an adult.
No, because what it reminded me, like when the like little girl's cousin, the actor appears.
The actor,
it made me think of like Georgia Rule, where it was like
I was gonna
neighborhood kids.
This is our Georgia Rule.
Because we see that grandma is into taxidermy and she has all these stuffed animals around the house. And I think that our very first introduction to the cousin is that he's dressed as a dog. So I thought, he's just into taxidermy. He's
a quirky neighborhood kid who loves this woman. Just stumbled upon her house one day, never left,
Right, because it's weird to meet the cousin before we find out that Sandra Bullock has a sister. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, oh, your cousin waited up all night to see you. And I'm like, who's this guy? Is it Harry Connick Jr.? And it's the kid, but it's cute.
Right.
I digress.
Anyway, so during this opening scene or opening scenes, this is where we learned that the grandmom is in a taxidermy, scary house.
The scary cats, the stuffed cats dressed in dresses.
This goes back to what we were saying from the top, so we don't like need to repeat it. But these are all the scenes where Sandra Bullock she doesn't look horrible. She just looks tired, and she just needs to sleep. And her mom, will not let her sleep in.
Nope.
And forces her, or I don't know if Sandra takes it upon herself, but she must have been strong-armed into going to the Temptation Island agency to get a job.
Yep. Yeah.
Immediately. It must have been the next day.
It felt like the next day, if not 2 days.
Yeah.
Does the temp agency thing happen before or after we meet Justin Matisse for the first time?
No, I think you're right. I think we meet Justin Matisse first.
Yeah, because like the one thing that they're doing, Mama's doing as well, in addition to get the fuck out of bed, you lazy hoe.
Yeah.
She's also like, get back on the horse, like let's go. So Mama's playing matchmaker. So Mom has invited Justin Matisse over, and it's just like important that we know this is where we meet Harry Connick Jr. This is going to be the love interest. And I think it's so cute that the daughter tries to drive him out.
She does try to drive him out because also before this scene, what's important is that Sandra Bullock gives her daughter a letter that is quote unquote from her dad.
And missed
she should have never given her this letter.
No, I know, because it's a lie.
Caused more harm than good. It's a weird lie.
It is a weird lie to like tell your kid. I'm assuming the letter was something like, I'm coming back for you, which is like, ugh, that's like some false hope.
Yeah.
But hope does float.
I mean, hope does float. Right. So we find out at the end that it seems like the dad truly wants nothing to do with the daughter. So it's in an effort to protect her, she writes a letter pretending to be the dad saying he really does care about her.
Yeah.
Which is sweet, but I think ultimately, a psychologist would probably have told her not to do that.
Yeah, maybe don't lie.
Don't lie.
Movie about honesty.
Because the movie's about radical honesty.
Movie about honesty. That's our first lie. Right there.
Literally. Yeah, because the letter is what causes Sandra Bullock, honestly, the most grief in the entire movie. And it's the one time in the movie that a character lies.
One time only.
I think so, actually. Actually, I think every other line in the movie is the truth.
Wait, this actually is a main theme in the movie, I just realized, because when a couple scenes later, Sandra Bullock comes like raging down the stairs and she's like, Bernice, what did you say to your father?
Well, that was a lot.
Bernice is like, I just told him the truth, which is like, you've been sleeping a lot, kinda, and you're tired a lot. And
True.
Grandma says, it's not a crime to tell the truth in this house. So, we did it.
No, you're right.
This movie's about honesty.
Well, what's funny is that in the scene where she yells at her daughter,
it was scary.
It's so much.
It's too much. It's physical.
Yeah,
she grabs her.
Yeah, it's physical and it grabs her, and then it just doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't jive with the character, right? Because we never see her get that angry about anything else in the movie. Even when she is, leaving the home in the beginning, she's the most upset at her ex-husband finding out that she's not doing well, which I do understand, but it just, if that was the energy that we got in like flashbacks of her in high school, then I think it would have made more sense.
She shoves that woman
she's out of control,
polka dot against a locker.
Right.
She's not doing that.
Right. No.
She's not an angry character, an angry person. I took it as, which I think the movie's really successful about, it's like appearances. You have to keep up appearances. Birdie is only known for her appearance.
Right.
She is a beauty queen.
I do love kind of the psychology of growing up in a home that, praises taxidermy. it does make sense that you would become really
Obsessed with your appearance. Yes.
right. It's like, even if I'm dead on the inside, I need to look beautiful on the outside. Because that's what taxidermy is all about.
I've heard that. Yeah.
So it does make more sense now, actually, that she would be the most upset.
Yeah.
Finding out that she's not keeping up her appearances. Okay, actually, I take back what I say.
Yeah, take it back. I made the joke that this movie. Take it back.
Look at me being flexible.
Do it. Don't wait until next week when you have to apologize. Do it right now.
No. I'm doing it right now. It feels good. It feels good.
How does that feel?
It feels good.
I've already had to come back to the pod with my tail between my legs a few times. So.
But look at me. I'm not waiting.
No.
I'm just taking care of business right now.
It's mature of you. Admitting when you're wrong.
Admitting when I was wrong.
I love that this is like.
I should have been more mad. Okay, go ahead.
I love that this is a Mad Lib movie, but the looks good on paper appearances taxidermy hit me all at once at the end, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
It's perfect. So this is a perfect job for mom. Or we decided maybe hobby. We're not sure if it was her income.
Yeah. Although you're right that we never really see her engaging in a taxidermical transaction where she's selling these products, but
nobody wants
it does
them.
seem like she has the skill set to make this into a business.
Definitely she does. She said that your father made a killing off of the scaredy cats.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, this is a family business, assuming.
It's a family business. It must be. Although what's confusing about Sandra Bullock's kind of career interest is that when she does go to the Temptation Island Agency for Career Services and she meets up with Polka Dot, who I guess she bullied her by calling her Polka Dot because her name's Dot. So she must have been wearing some pretty heinous polka dot fashion.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was like a fat reference, and I think we're just lucky it really wasn't.
No.
She's like, like imagine she was like beefcake. Do you know?
Yeah, and this is 98. This is ripe for that kind of language.
Oh
but
my
it
God,
really
yeah.
wasn't.
No, they didn't go there. The woman was like, I know you don't recognize me. I'm like 30. I've lost like 35 pounds. And Sandra Bullock goes, polka dot? And I held my breath because I was like, she could have said fat heifer. She could have
something
said
really 90s of her.
Even big, whatever the bully's name is, big is not great.
No, that was bad.
Yeah.
But no, I think it must have been with some sort of fashion that she was wearing.
It had to be the polka dots.
What's interesting about her interaction with Polka Dot, though, is that this is, I mean, there must be only 5 businesses in this town, and yet they have a temp agency to fill needs, which is funny to me.
I know. I'm like, just walk down to the local grocery store. Like, what are you doing?
Go to the 1-hour photo on your own.
Literally.
So what's interesting is that I must have missed it, but how does she communicate to her that her passion is photography?
Unsuccessfully at first. The woman's like,
right.
What? The woman's like, okay, how fast do you type? Sandra's like, I don't. She's like, okay, like what?
Honest.
So honest. She's like, what kind of like skills do you have? She's like, I don't have any. And Polka Dot is like, look, like what do you want me to like do? And then Sandra Bullock is like, I take photos and I'm really good at it. And this woman at first is not going to give her the time of day. And then we get Sandra Bullock, like a little glimpse into her past. She goes, look, I'm sure I didn't treat you well in high school, but like, could you please help me out? And then the woman says, all right, go home, take some pictures, bring them back. I want to see what you got. So that's kind of how that goes down. She literally can't do anything else but take photos.
Yeah. Okay. Because I kept feeling like I was missing the moment where we find out that she was responsible for taking all the pictures for the high school yearbook, or she was in she was in the photography club.
She wasn't allowed to be layered in high school. Just beauty queen.
Get that
through your thick skull, Steven. That's all we're allowed to be.
And that's why she couldn't develop any other skills.
Exactly.
Okay, so then she takes her assignment and she goes out and looks for her subject material to take photographs of.
In the wild.
In the wild with kind of an old-timey camera.
That's my question.
It was
Am I
cute.
crazy? What year was that from and why that one?
Right. It felt like it was like a camera from like the 1930s. I don't know when they
It
invented
was like
the
a
camera.
hand crank camera. It was 98. We could have had a point and shoot Minolta.
Right. And which so funny to me is that the camera seemed highly technical.
It was.
And we didn't see a scene of her struggling to use it or trying to figure out how it worked or any of that.
She's a natural.
But what we do get are scenes of her struggling to use a machine to print out photos where she pushes one button.
The photo printing machine.
Yeah.
So maybe it's right. She really has no skills.
And
besides being a wife, honestly.
Besides being a wife. And what's so funny is that when she does go and present her body of work to Polka Dot, she's impressed with the photographs and she's like, well, I have something for you. And that's when she gets the assistant job at the 1 hour photo. Which is just funny because they actually don't really, you'd think they're connected, those two jobs. But they're really not.
Not even close. No skill.
No.
But so is that where she gets access to the dark room that she needs? Maybe.
Well, and this was always my gripe with the people at CVS is that even until like 5 years ago, when you went to get your film developed at CVS or even digital, sorry, let me rephrase that. When you would go to the little Kodak stand and get your digital prints developed, they still have the people in the back wearing the lab coat and the rubber gloves. But I'm like, we're not doing that anymore. It's for show.
A movie about appearance.
Like we're not actually using film and dye anymore. It's all digital. So it was interesting that they made a point to show her wearing the gloves and the jacket, even though she was just putting the film through the machine.
No,
it was too funny to me.
Here's where I admit that I actually have no idea how a 1 hour photo works. Because I was like, do you have to go in the dark room and at least open the film in a dark space and then run it through this machine? Like I truly actually don't know how
I'm wrong again, but it didn't seem like she needed the safety equipment. I'll just say that.
Because she was wearing the equipment and doing the darkroom for her own personal prints, which
that's correct.
Were taken on the camera that would need to be developed in that way. But
100%.
I was confused. But anyway, when she kind of uses the machine successfully once or twice, but then after that, the photos go black for that one client of theirs. I felt like it was going to be very like Under the Tuscan Sun, the little water spout. And it was like, not today. There's no water today. Not tomorrow. But at the end of the movie, the water runs, and it's like this symbol.
And like the machine works for her?
Yeah. So I thought the whole movie she was going to be like really bad at it. And then by the end, the machine was going to like magically work.
Yeah.
No.
That's a nice thought.
Didn't really.
No, she was just like not paying attention.
She was not paying attention. And then wait, did you die when she's getting her tutorial of the shop? And he goes, for the nude photos, we print them and then we make a copy and we put them here.
And he's like, you can look at them whenever you want.
You
just can't take them home with you. Which I again,
it was sweet.
Radical honesty.
Good movie.
That's the first question you want to ask when you work at a print shop like that is, what do you do with the weird pics?
Yeah. And he's like,
he told her right away.
He's like, we barely look at them. We just give them away, but also make a copy.
Also make a copy. And, you know, if you want to see them, happy to show you.
In the office only.
In fact, you can look.
Yeah.
So, it was an interesting job for her. I think, I guess they were trying to communicate. They were trying to make it seem like this was a humiliating job assignment for her. However, it doesn't really come across like that because the guy that works there is so endearing, and
it is. It's a really cute shop. I wrote that down.
It's really cute, and even he's like, "Oh my God, people are just gonna come in here to get their photos developed just to meet you and see you."
And they do.
So
they come in and they say, "Saw your episode on TV."
Yeah, they came in to see Birdie, which is nice.
Yeah, the one woman who saw it twice because she has satellite. She's like, and I'm here to get these wedding photos developed. Here you go. Like, it's
you hear that, girl?
Very on the nose.
Yes, very on the nose.
But they don't miss a beat to tell her she's beautiful still.
Correct.
'Cause that's,
But she is.
yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
And then I think around this time,
We get a really sad scene. Dad.
okay, tell me about
We
it.
meet Dad after this.
Yeah, we do meet Dad.
It's really sad. We know Dad's in some sort of home,
Yeah.
and I guess we're left to imply that he is like memory loss or Alzheimer's or something. I think he does they say Alzheimer's because they call it
I think
Alzheimer's.
Yeah, she calls it old timers.
Yeah, and it's really sweet. The whole family goes in, like, says hi, and then Dad wants to have a dance with his daughter. It's just fucking sad.
It is sad, and yeah, I mean, I think what they're trying to get at here is, like, by the end of the movie, like, we see the dad still looking at this picture of Sandra Bullock as a young girl, and mixing it in with no, she's looking at a picture of Sandra Bullock's daughter, and he says, "This is my daughter."
Yeah.
Because there's this kind of overlap of Sandra Bullock and her daughter. But it was definitely one of those elements that felt sad just to be sad.
I know. This is one of those movies. This is pure melodrama. And
You could pull this whole section out, and the movie you wouldn't even know.
shorten the runtime. And
Yeah.
Because the same way we talk about Travis's mom, we could talk about Dad if we wanted. We don't have to meet him.
Well,
But-
and this is also at the same time that I wrote down that, like, I think what they missed out on here was a really good sort of like high school reckoning movie where if they eliminated the dad element,
I understand why they included the dad scenes, though, because, like, were you getting that, like, okay, so Bernice is obsessed with Dad coming back. And we do hear we hear, like, a few times in the movie, and I think, I argue that we see it from Gena Rowlands. She's kind of second to Sandra's dad. Like, Sandra is a daddy's girl. So that's what they're going for.
there's definitely like a different relationship between the dad and the mom.
Yeah.
For Sandra
Mom
Bullock.
is, like, more distant and kind of seems to always say the wrong thing.
She does. Well, it's her radical honesty at work.
It is. It
And
is. Can't fault her for that.
it's not until her own daughter gets into some trouble at school that we see Sandra really embracing her mom's like techniques when she puts on the full clown outfit.
Full clown.
And like tries to cheer her up.
Yeah, the little kid storyline is very funny. Bernice hits, what is her name? Big Dolores.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because this is the B plot of the
It is,
movie,
yeah.
which is that she hit her in the face with a volleyball and then she's going to get beat up.
Yeah.
And that stretches on for about an hour.
They really toggle back and forth between it.
They do. They cut back and forth.
They do, because Sandra is, like, at this point, she's actually starting to get to know Justin Matisse. He sees her at a restaurant eating solo, and he's like, it takes guts to do that. While he's eating alone. I'm like, ha ha ha, this is cute. So they've actually reconnected and started to. Mom's matchmaking is perfect.
Sandra Bullock's like, "Oh, do you want to come eat with me?" And he's like, "No." And
No, can't, gotta go. I thought that was great.
yeah, it is. You definitely. What's hard though is that we don't really get to know him that well in the movie.
Nah.
I mean, except that he does like work around the house, which I guess
Yeah.
is his personality trait.
Yeah.
And then Sandra really steps in it when she tells him that he could be doing more than just this.
She opens up a real can of worms for him. Because he had that
Yeah.
life in California. We don't know doing what. We don't know when. We don't know how long
He just wants to be a
ago.
handyman.
Yeah. But he did say, I miss, he came back because he missed making his own stuff.
Right.
Okay. If you say so, buddy.
Yeah, because we find out that he is working on his own home one night when him and Sandra are like walking around his property, and he's like, "Here's all my plans for my house. I'm gonna have a deck that goes all the way around."
And it's a real turning point for them. She's like, wow, Justin, this is beautiful.
Yeah, and I think what annoys him is that she instantly is a little bit more attracted to him, knowing that he has all this talent. and he gets really mad. He's like, oh, are you talking about the American dream? Is that what you're talking about? Is that what you want me to have? Well, I don't want to do all that.
You're helping me through this moment because up until this point, they've had nothing but actually good dates. You know, they went on the boat and they did the dinner.
Yeah.
They did the not dinner thing. And at this point, something goes wrong this night because they do sleep next to each other on a bench, right? Like in front of his house outside.
No, they do spend the night together, but this is their classic kind of first fight.
Yeah, right.
And
like it's like he's like, is she for me?
Yeah, it's trying to take that idea, I think, from New in Town, where she's like taking her big city values of like you should be working hard, and putting it on him.
Mm-hmm. It's her elite Chicago mind.
Yeah, because he does say to her like you were saying, no, I don't want that. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do all that work.
Yeah, I just wish one flaw in this movie. Tell me what he was doing in California. Like, was it like a desk job? Because then I'd be like, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, we don't really know what he was doing.
He just came back. But yeah, toggling from B plot of like Bernice hitting the big bully in the head and like getting ready to die. That's what Travis says. She's going to get killed.
Yeah.
We're going on dates with Sandy and Harry Connick Jr. Hot Harry.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think, because is this the night too where we kind of get the very melodramatic kind of fade to black of them kind of embracing?
Yeah.
I think that this might have been that night too.
And then she walks home the next morning.
She does walk home, and this was also leads into a really tough scene, because this is, I think, the same morning where she brings her daughter her lunchbox to school.
Oh no, that comes later.
Oh, that comes later.
But yeah, their relationship is breaking down because Bernice sees her mom didn't sleep home last night. Mm-hmm. Watches her wash her face, and Bernice is like going through shit at school, and mom is not there. She's like pretty absent.
You're right. It's later.
Yeah, it's like a bit later with the lunchbox thing. But the mother-daughter relationships in this movie are strained. That's kind of what they're showing us. I'm confused. It seemed like Sandra wanted nothing to do with, what's his name? Oh, Justin Matisse after this night. And I'm like, why? It seemed like a great night.
Yeah, well, that's where I was saying that it felt like we didn't really need the romance, because he also keeps asking her like, oh, what would you have done if I would have asked you out on a date in high school? What would you do if I asked you out on a date now?
Yeah.
And we never get like her kind of googly eye response.
Nope.
But he keeps trying.
She also, like, in a moment of it's such a good moment in the movie between mother and daughter. She says, like, I still love Bill. Like, I still miss Bill. And I'm like, come on, it's Harry Connick Jr. How do you still miss Bill? But she's like, I miss, the way he would, like, put his hand on the small of my back, blah, blah, blah. These movies don't work for me in this way. We know Bill's not a main character because you're like, who is even that actor? Like, no one cares about him.
Yeah.
So it's hard when the lead actress is always like, but I still miss Bill, Bob, Joe. Because you're
whatever.
Like, that's no old no name over there.
Old no name.
You miss old no name Bill? No, you don't.
And he also hasn't like peeked back into the movie at all. So we don't really remember him.
And he's a cheater. We hate him.
Yeah, and we can barely remember Harry Connick Jr., so it's
tough. It's real tough.
It's a lot of work for us.
Oh my God, the audience has to work hard in this.
Yeah. Okay, but what causes her to go out for that night of heavy drinking?
Okay, so this is really...
Because I think that's when she has real issues with Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah, so that's why I'm confused. So after that night, which seemed just fine... Mom is like that later the next day goes, I'm having Justin over for dinner. And Sandra Bullock's character is like, I don't want to see Justin right now. And Mom's like, well, he's my friend, so I'm inviting him. And I was like, A, you shouldn't have to see anyone you don't want to see. But B, what happened? Why doesn't she want to see him?
Yeah, why the long face?
Why the long face? You have nothing to be upset about, girl.
You got a great job.
Great job.
You got a
Dust
roof
yourself.
over your head.
Pick yourself up by your bootstraps and get out of bed. You know what the problem with today's day and age is? No one wants to work anymore.
Yeah, so yeah, I think we must be missing something because I can't remember why she's so anti the dinner.
So yeah, at that dinner though, that's kind of when
Yeah.
stuff goes downhill. Like they get into like a little tiff, and he's like, "Let me know when you're done waiting for your deadbeat husband." And it's line crossing.
Yeah.
And Sandra Bullock goes and takes herself to the local bar.
Right. Okay.
So
And that's where she kind of makes a fool of herself in front of the town, because there's a lot of the local town people, like that woman that she ruined her film is there, and they're all watching her drink more and more, and they're making fun of her.
yeah, I wrote down some random quotes for this movie.
What?
Mom, what did you do to make him leave? Random townswoman. No, Mom. Why you don't want to see Justin tonight for dinner? Why? Because your hair's not fixed. I actually don't remember who said that. It could have been a townie.
It could
Could have been anybody.
Anybody is looking for an opportunity to tear her down.
The one woman was like, "I like what you've done to your hair. It's so modern and stuff." It's just like half up, half down.
Yeah. Well, it's shocking. But she does get real drunk.
Yeah.
And
we skipped over Bernice smacking the shit out of that bully with a lunchbox. Peak scene.
oh yeah, they have their after school
Yeah.
rumble.
And my favorite thing to happen in a movie ever: Mom, Travis, and Sandra Bullock wear costumes and do a dance number to cheer Bernice up.
Yeah.
And it works perfectly.
Yeah. And they sing a song. That seems a little mature for the young kid.
I was like, pick something. No, but Bernice actually did seem to know it. I was like, I don't know this song.
No.
I don't know one lick of this song.
No, I've never heard it before, but they
Never.
all did seem to really like that song.
Yeah, I think they couldn't get clearances for like Ain't No Mountain High.
Oh, for sure. They
So,
definitely, yeah.
they, like-
Ain't No Mountain High light.
They had to clear something different.
Yeah. Yep. That makes sense.
But back to the sad. So yeah, she's getting drunk at the local town bar because stuff is really snowballing now. Justin is like, make a
Yeah.
choice.
Make a choice, lady. And the next day is kind of the lunchbox scene where she's hungover trying to give her daughter.
But not before we get, like I said, this
What?
movie's maybe even too good to talk about. She comes home drunk and she's throwing up in the toilet, and Mom and her have like a really sweet talk. This is a movie about mothers and daughters. This is Lady Bird.
Yeah, this is Lady Bird.
You think it's
all
about her
grown up.
dating, but it's about
It's not.
Laurie Metcalf.
It shouldn't have been. That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't have been about the dating.
Mom
It
tried
would've
to
been
shoehorn
more-
that in though. Controlling,
Yeah, that was
controlling
Mom's work. And she says that at the very end when she sees him.
Mama,
But Mama,
you nasty dog. She doesn't say. Folks at home, she does not say that.
she doesn't say that, but she is throwing up on the bathroom floor, still looking gorgeous.
Still looking so hot. So hot. But yeah, you're right. So then that's the lunchbox scene where like Sandra's kind of fucking up with her daughter. And
Yeah.
we do know that Bernice has the note to go on, so she thinks dad's coming back, you know?
Right.
Which can't blame a kid for hoping. But wait,
No.
so bitchy that she doesn't go get the lunchbox.
Yeah, I did think that the daughter was acting a little bit inappropriate at this
She
scene.
could have just
Like,
walked over and got it.
It was almost too precocious to be acting like this.
Yeah, she
It
talks
was-
like a 40-year-old screenwriter.
Yeah, it was a little bit much. I was like, kids don't really act like that.
They don't like retaliate in that way. Plus, you want lunch.
Like,
Don't you want lunch?
If your mom is sick all night and like you wouldn't you be like, oh, thank God you're okay?
Yeah, Bernice is not happy with her mama. And Sandra Bullock has to give the lunchbox to like some random like aide.
Yeah, the worker there, she's like, can you just make sure she gets this? Blah blah blah.
Yeah, strained mother-daughter relationships in this movie.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think when she gets home, because this is all building up to the kind of the big shock coming up soon.
When does Sandra Bullock say, You're sad, you're weak, and you're shorter, if you want me to be honest.
I don't know.
Oh, she says that to Bill. Never mind. I'm like, why do I
Oh.
have that written down? Because I was like, she does not say that to Justin Matisse.
No.
Yeah, so we're really ramping up to such a sad ending. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We didn't know when we
And-
started this movie that it was going to be so real,
sad.
gritty, sad. So Grandma is starting to actually be a great grandmom to Bernice. And
Yeah.
she tucks her in and she's like, you know, you remind me a lot of your mother. And Bernice is like, I'm nothing like her. Like, I hate that bitch. Doesn't say that either. It's actually really beautiful. Sandra Bullock is watching from the other side of the door. It's really cute. It's sweet. It's kind of that really nice final moment. Grandma, you know, has been able to kind of step into a motherly role at this point. And this is where we
Yeah.
get more dramatic slow-mo in the movie. Grandma goes to bed and slow motion drops a teacup,
Yeah.
which is
Kind
supposed
of clutches her chest.
and clutches her chest, which allows us to conclude something internal has gone on.
Some sort of cardiac event.
And I felt betrayed and pissed off. But next scene is Sandra Bullock picking out an outfit, and it's not a pink outfit.
Okay, but not just before that scene, because my favorite line in the movie is when Sandra
let's
Bullock
hear it.
is running over to her mom, dying,
Mama.
and she just says, "This isn't happening to me," and that's where I did relate to her, because I'm like, she really cannot catch a break. This poor woman. She's
She
like,
can't.
it's like every day it rains on her parade.
I was just
That
going to
is-
say that. I was like, this isn't Hope Floats.
No, it's pouring.
Wait, I just got chills everywhere. What if the phrase is Hope Floats? And we'll have to look it up. Because when it rains, it pours. But if you're made of a boat, you just float.
Yeah.
So, like, the rain can never get you down if you float.
If you're floating.
And hope is the floaty. Like, hope is your
Those
float.
are all true statements.
I feel really good
so-
about that. I just got chills everywhere. Did you too? I see your chills.
Yeah, but then I'm like, how do you square that with my cup runneth over? Because that doesn't really jive.
When does she say that for the first time? Like runtime wise? Like halfway?
I mean, obviously it's like meant to mirror something that happens early on, but I can't exactly place where it's first said.
Because the only time I really remember it is at the end when the little kid says it. And again, it feels very precocious.
It's really no child would ever say
My
that.
cup runneth
but
over.
but
Kind of rude since a
yeah,
cup killed grandma.
since a cup killed grandma, and yeah, I guess it's true that if you look at it like if Sandra Bullock can just persevere, then she'll be fine. But her mom does die, and the next scenes are the funeral, and this is when Bill returns, her former husband, for the funeral and the kind of after party, if you will. And
Yeah.
this is where
That's what we call it, an after party.
An after party.
Yeah, after the funeral.
And after the funeral comes the after party, and
Good food every time.
always good food. And this is the scene where her daughter is so excited because they're like sitting on a couch together and it looks like they're talking to each other, but it's not until they ask her to leave the room that they really start going into it. And he officially asks for a divorce, which felt kind of anticlimactic.
You're like,
because
okay, duh.
I thought we'd already done that.
Cross that bridge already.
Right. And he also storms out, and this is, I guess, your favorite scene.
This is my favorite scene.
Where the daughter runs after him.
You want me. You want me.
I really couldn't deal with this scene.
I feel
It was
like
too
you,
much.
okay, correct me if I'm wrong. You don't like child actors, I don't think.
No, I thought she was the weakest part of the movie.
You
if I'm being
always think this.
completely-
You always think the kids are bad in the movies.
I mean, there are good child actors and there are bad child actors.
You don't think this
and
was great work?
No, I think it wasn't necessarily her fault. I thought it was a little bit much.
The writing is not on her.
Yeah, the writing. I mean, yeah, I think they're writing it like they did this idea which was popular, which was like write kids like adults.
Yeah.
And
Because Justin Matisse, You Stink, is written from an adult. child's perspective.
Yeah, so it's, and even like her last line in the movie about her main concern with her getting into a relationship with Justin Matisse, just like it didn't jive with what a child would say. So
You mean I don't want to be Bernice Matisse was not
Bernice Matisse,
believable?
it was like, I would just be like, shh. So
I think she's doing so much emotional heavy lifting, though. I've never seen a kid actor break down in such a great way. It's so good.
it's an interesting scene because the child actor, like you're saying, is doing a lot. Like she's screaming, crying, hysterical, running around.
It's hard
and
to
what's
do. It's really tough to get there.
It must have been really weird to film because Sandra Bullock, I mean, it's her and Sandra Bullock and Bill, right?
Mm-hmm.
And neither of those two characters are emotional. So it's just the child actor.
Yeah, I think she gave it
And-
great stakes. She thought Dad was coming back, and then
Yeah.
Dad came back. Like her biggest want in like this whole movie came true, and then it was just taken away from her in a moment.
Taken away from her,
sad.
and he repeated, like, with no emotion, is like, no, like, you need to stay here. Like, I need to have a chance to make this
To
work
make this work with
whatever,
other bitch number 2.
whatever that lady's name is.
Lady.
And he even looks at Sandra Bullock. He's like, hey, you're gonna help me out here, and she doesn't do anything.
I loved that. Sandra Bullock just kind of
which I
sat
did
back.
like.
I loved it. It was finally like she has agency, and she's just like, I'm gonna watch you sort of like feel the consequences of your own actions right now in this
Right.
moment. Because she was doing a bit of lying with the letter.
A bit.
Just a bit. Just a little bit of lying.
No, I mean, it was the big lie that started this whole thing.
Yeah. So now she sits
and-
back and watches him sink himself in his daughter's eyes, and I'm so down.
Exactly. And
So down.
You're right, though, that it's almost immediately after this where Bill drives away that Bernice comes to the realization that there's no way that her dad wrote that letter because
Yeah.
it didn't match the behavior.
There's a
which,
little bit of a
again,
debrief.
felt like
Sandra tells her there's a debrief in the bedroom. Sandra Birdie.
no, but the daughter says it first.
No, but it like we cut to the scene late. Do you know how like in
Yeah.
screenplay fashion you're kind of already getting to the scene in the middle of it?
Yeah.
So they're in the bedroom talking.
It just either way, whether Sandra told her or she figured it out, that felt like a lot to process for someone that age.
it was a lot.
In a way that you wouldn't recover like she did.
She bounced
right?
right the fuck back.
She was like, "Oh, I get it."
Yeah, they're in the bedroom, and I do think Sandra tells her, like, hey, I wrote that letter. And then we do cut into the scene late where Bernice is like, what? Like, you did that? Okay, blah, blah, blah. And she's understanding. And then, but it's a movie, and we got to wrap it up in a neat way.
It just
So we
it
did.
just seemed like that would cause a lot of harm to find that out.
Like, if this is like Georgia Rule, Lindsay Lohan's going, you lied to me the whole movie?
Exactly. So
The lie is almost worse than finding out Dad didn't write it. Not in this movie.
100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was interesting, but you're right that we do have to end because
Didn't work for Steven, guys.
We're running out of screen time.
We're definitely running out of screen time, and no, like I said, no montages. Nothing in this movie's speedy, so we actually have some
No.
more talking to do. I thought it was so cute at the funeral. Justin Matisse is kind of like stepping into a fatherly role for Travis. A little bit of an eye roll, but Travis has been abandoned, straight up abandoned by his mom the whole movie.
Yeah. And he's like, I hope Sandra Bullock will take care of me now.
Yeah, I hope Aunt Birdie wants me. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The kids in this movie are going to have a lot of trauma, I just want to say.
I think he did have a point because you do forget about him. So I think he was right to raise that at that time to say, hey, I'm still here.
Needed to.
I hope I can earn my keep.
The costumes are attention getting. He's like,
Oh,
just
yeah,
remind, like, I have to dress as Kermit or else you might forget about me.
Yeah. So it was good that he kept kind of letting himself be known. I think it was good to do those check-ins to say, hey, where do I stand?
Where do I stand in your eyes?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that kind of like, that's that. Like, Grandma's gone. Justin Matisse is allowed back. Bill is sent packing on his own accord.
Bill's gone forever.
Yeah, he did that.
And this is what I'm saying now, and it's unfortunate that Mom had to die, But now she finally has some time to relax.
Yeah, to get over, to recover, to heal.
To recover. And she finally can take a breath and move on.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when she finally starts to be, you can just see her relax.
Yeah. And this is where I thought the photo machine would fix, as a symbol for Sandra's fixed.
Because we do cut to the photo machine.
And the photos are spitting out black. And she's like fanning through them. And then she gets...
Although I didn't understand the scene.
It's to get her and Justin back together.
No, I know that. But so someone purposely took bad photos to get her attention so that she would get the photo of...
This is confusing because I'm assuming they're her photos, right? Like she took them?
No, because she sees that the photo that is of Justin Matisse and she holds it up
is the only one that's not ruined by the machine.
Right, but it's also exactly what he looks like outside.
Immediately, yes.
So maybe the photographer guy, this shop owner, did it too, right? Like she didn't take the photo.
Oh, I was assuming that these were like her photos that she had taken and she's getting them developed and the machine is ruining them and she's pissed. She's like, this was my hard work, whatever. And she's fanning, and then she sees one pristine photo. But I'm just like, why would the machine only spit out one good one?
Yeah, that's why I think it was kind of an inside job. I think the whole town set it up together because he was wearing the same clothes. I'm shocked at this theory
right now, 10th hour in the podcast.
Well, because he does make a real big point to her to say, we are 1 hour photo. Like, you have to develop them ASAP. And since the photo matched exactly what he was wearing, it makes me think that the guy who ran the shop took the photos.
Okay.
Or somebody took the photos and then gave it to her and were like, you need to do this right away.
Yeah. Someone was doing Justin Matisse's bidding for him.
Right.
He said, I'll throw you a tenner, take this pic and run this in there real quick. That person,
that's what I think happened.
The hero of the movie, we don't see them.
We don't see them.
Because they're irrelevant.
Yeah. But she does look at the photo and then she looks outside and she sees her man.
Yeah. Hottie Harry Connick Jr. And
Harry Connick Jr.
She steps foot outside and she makes a voiceover to mom. Like, I see what you're doing, mama.
She says, okay, mama.
It was a ghost who did it. Her mom.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. It was mom. Mom planted the photo.
Because she does say, okay, mama, stop pushing.
Stop pushing. Because the pic is a sign. The machine is busted and one photo comes out and it's...
The machine does need to be, fixed, I think, needs maintenance.
Refurbished. Get a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the symbol of the movie I was hoping for.
But they do embrace and...
that's that. They're together.
This scene is kind of hot because it's like her hair is like spilling all out. They do the classic Hope Float slow-mo as she's
slow-mo. So much slow-mo.
It's so funny because like they're not really kissing. They're just like hugging and like dipping each other. It's so weird.
I know, where they were really sparing with the kisses in this movie. We got almost zero.
Almost none. And like the big night that they spend together, it cuts to black almost immediately.
Yeah. And I don't think any funny business happened that night because the bench is too small.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Because they were kind of already on thin ice at that point too. Because she was like...
but yeah, the implication of that night is a little bit morning after a walk of shame. She walks home holding her shoes. But whatever.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're fast forward back at the end of the movie. They are a happy family. It's like some sort of fair, holiday fair. Bernice is shaking the snow globe.
A stunning electrical pageant of just
more lights than 4 Christmases. No, yeah, 4 Christmases. It's our favorite reference. If you missed it, go back.
It was a beautiful holiday light display. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Sandra Bullock is walking with Bernice, and Harry Connick Jr. is walking with the other boy that they have to take in now.
Yeah, have to.
And
because you got to be in end.
Bernice, this is when Bernice is like, "Are you guys gonna get married?
Yeah.
I have to tell you something," and that's where she says she doesn't want to be Bernice Matisse, and we all laugh.
Yeah, I laugh. Steven rolls his eyes.
Well, this is the scene that was just like, wow, like this town, they literally could not take their foot off of her neck for like months. And now they finally let her just like breathe and she's fine. Like,
your hair's not fixed. You're ugly. You look like shit. The first time she sees Justin Matisse, he says, you look terrible.
Right. And it's like, the camera kind of pulls back, and I think we get some narration from Sandra Bullock where she mentions, you need time for hope to float.
You're like, okay.
And I was just like, okay, I guess that makes sense.
I'm like, roll credits, babe. Roll credits.
Yeah, like wrap it up. Like don't try to shoehorn it in now.
It is like right before the ending VO. Bernice pulls her mom in, and she's like, "What, baby?" And Bernice goes, "My cup runneth over." Still
again.
Yeah,
still.
Oh, still.
I think it was still.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, I don't remember. It's my cup runneth over, and I'm like, that's the point where I go, when have we heard that in the movie before? I think literally once.
Right. We definitely have heard it before, because when she says it, I'm like, oh, right. They definitely said that before. Mm-hmm. However, my cup runneth over it's just not an expression you hear fly out of the mouth of babes. And like, my cup runneth over, and, it means, wow, I'm just like overcome with luxury. I have everything I need. And I don't know if her cup does runneth over. I mean,
for a kid, she's at a fair. She's got a balloon.
I guess.
She does have a red balloon. Someone does at the end.
I guess. Yeah. I guess if you're at a fair with a balloon, that's about as much as you can put in your cup.
And as a kid, it really runneth over.
I guess
I was like, this is a small town expression, maybe, and it would make sense Bernice uses it. I'm like,
yeah.
All right. I'll give him a pass on that. Anyways, I hope you see that we truly believe it's a perfect movie, even after this.
Well, I think that it's a really excellent movie, and I think that I think that the theme of being honest is so now, it's so now, and I think that it could have been a really interesting dramatic movie if they would have pushed the Sandra Bullock was a terror in high school
down
narrative.
Yeah.
And then if we then saw that be replicated with her daughter being a bully or something like that.
Oh, her daughter's the bully.
Right.
That could be cool.
So I think that could have been an interesting angle as well. But I really like how the movie was not afraid to just give us very random details.
Yeah.
And so specific.
I'm looking at taxidermy for sure.
Taxidermy.
That's my vote for most random.
Most random, but also kind of the most consequential, because now it really informs their worldview.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She grew up with a taxidermy family. Like, that's embarrassing.
You can't shake that.
No, that's not something you leave behind. You embrace it, actually.
Yeah.
I was actually pretty surprised by one rewrite, maybe, is to not ending on a shot with a taxidermy. To me was like a disservice to the end of the movie. Like, they kind of just cut to this like 4-shot of the family now. I think the house is in the background, maybe. But
yeah, I think so.
Anyway, like, I wanted to see them in the living room surrounded by the scaredy cats and a couple other taxidermy things, because it's like about embracing the weird, embracing where you come from, embracing the good, bad, the ugly. Mom was embarrassing. Sandra says many times throughout the movie, like, I used to hate this when I was a kid, and now it would just, I wanted to end on some taxidermy.
Yeah, I think that would have been
I'm into that.
A nice way to go.
Yeah. But that's my it's one flaw, just one.
One small flaw. That's it.
Just one.
Anyway.
So we always say it. I mean, that we did it.
That's that.
That's
hope floats.
Yeah. And my cup runneth over.
Yep.
This movie's really good. I actually recommend you guys see it. Go watch this one.
I think it's very good. I think it gives you, like you were saying, it gives you a little bit of everything. It gives you romance, drama, a little bit of spooky with the taxidermy.
Just a little.
life lessons. So it's got something for everyone.
I'm with ya. Okay. Well, don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment on the YouTube video if you're watching this on YouTube. Or please write us a review. Like, it's getting annoying. It's not funny anymore.
Hope can only float for so long. So
Seriously, I'm running out. I'm running out of hope.
our cup is not runneth
My
over.
cup is empty. Empty. Okay. So please go on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and rate us and give us a review, and we'll read it on air. That's like our promise to you. Yeah.
And that's the honest truth.
And that's the God honest truth. Okay.
God honest.
Well, bye, Steven.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.